A little over 1 year ago, I made a video saying why Sam Bankman-Fried was a fake. At the time, I got a lot of backlash. Of course, at that time, a lot of people thought that Sam Bankman-Fried was going to save the world. He was going to be the most charitable person ever to exist. But first, he needed to make more money. Fast forward to today, and we've now learned that the jury took 4.5 hours to decide that Sam Bankman-Fried is guilty of 7 charges that were brought against him, which include fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud, among other things. But it's not over yet. Today, we're going to look into what is his sentencing, when will that be, and when is his next trial, because this was just the first of 2. Additionally, we're going to look at what the U.S. attorney has to say about FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and all of the scammers in the crypto world. And don't you know, I'm going to give you my 2 Satoshis on his sentiments as well. If you guys enjoy these updates, I appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you want to know what we're doing with our cryptocurrencies and how we are keeping them out of the hands of the scammers like Sam Bankman-Fried, you have to check out learningcrypto.com, which is the home of the CT Club. So let's go over the first 7 charges that Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty of. Each of these come with a maximum sentence of 20 years. Keep that in mind. So the first one, of course, wire fraud against FTX customers, conspiracy to commit wire fraud against FTX customers, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud on lenders of Alameda Research, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He's been found guilty of all of these counts. Now, like I said before, they all have a maximum sentence of 20 years. So it is possible that at his sentencing hearing, which is on March 28th of 2024, the judge decides that he will serve each of these counts concurrently, which could mean that his total sentence will be 20 years. It means they're all served at the same time. Or the judge could decide that Sam Bankman-Fried needs to be made an example of, and each of these counts will be served to the maximum consecutively, which could be well over 100 years in prison. Currently, he's in the Brooklyn Department of Corrections, where he was originally waiting out this trial. Now, after, again, the jury took, I think, 4.5 hours to decide this, which was pretty fast. But anyway, let's look at what the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams had to say about this case.
Sam Bankman-Fried perpetrated one of the biggest financial frauds in American history, a multi-billion-dollar scheme designed to make him the king of crypto.
Yep.
But here's the thing. The cryptocurrency industry might be new. The players like Sam Bankman-Fried might be new. But this kind of fraud, this kind of corruption is as old as time.
Interesting. The type of fraud is old as time, happening under their noses for generations. So again, I ask you, what good do the regulators do again? Why do you pay them so much millions of your tax dollars? I renounced because I thought the U.S. government was a complete joke, but
And
anyway.
we have no patience for it. When I became U.S. Attorney, I promised that we would be relentless in rooting out corruption in our financial markets.
Interesting, because they didn't root out anything. Actually, it was the crypto free market that caused the downfall of FTX, and now these regulators and the U.S. Attorney here are trying to claim ownership over that after the fact. Classic.
This is what relentless looks like. This case moved at lightning speed. That was not a coincidence. That was a choice. And it's also a message. It's a warning, this case, to every single fraudster out there who thinks that they're untouchable or that their crimes are too complex for us to catch, or that they're
You didn't catch anything.
too powerful for us to prosecute, or that they could try to talk their way out of it when they get caught. Those folks should think again and cut it out.
Cut it out, guys. Just cut it out.
And if they don't, I promise we'll have enough handcuffs for all of them.
And he goes on. But yeah, I just needed to show you that and share with you my thoughts on his take on the situation. It's really interesting how much credit he's trying to take there. Like, they knew all about Sam Bankman-Fried ahead of time, and then they're the ones that closed in on it. The only reason they knew anything that was happening is because FTX collapsed on itself like a star dying, and billions of dollars of people's investments were gone. And so that's the only reason it was on their agenda of something to deal with. Let's not be confused here and say that they're the ones who prevented this from happening. And all the people who believed the BS spewing out of Sam Bankman-Fried's mouth, let this be a reminder for any one of you who are in crypto now, who are falling for it. Any one person who is the head of a cryptocurrency project or platform, or anyone who's trying to position themselves as being the end-all, be-all savior of cryptocurrency, that statement in and of itself is a complete oxymoron. It does not make sense because cryptocurrency's survival relies on its decentralization, and it's stepping away from third-party risk. And any one person who's trying to step up and say that they are needed, that their very existence is what is required for cryptocurrency's existence, they don't quite get it yet. And there's a lot of people out there. I can name them all, but I'm sure there's a lot of names that you guys can think of as I'm saying this. Also, I have to say that, of course, Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't believe he's guilty. He submitted a non-guilty plea at the start of this court case. And so he will be fighting this with an appeal. And furthermore, like I said before, his sentencing hearing is March 28th of 2024. But what else is happening in March is his second court case, where he'll be facing even more charges of fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud, but even more notably, the charge against basically conspiracy to violate the anti-bribery provisions of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Now, was that him trying to bribe the Chinese government? Was that him trying to bribe Congress? Who knows? But this new court case in March, it might not even happen if the prosecutor decides not to proceed with it. Why wouldn't they proceed with it? Maybe they don't want to open that can of worms of the type of bribery that actually happens behind closed doors of the politicians in the United States. I'm sure there's lots of reasons why they wouldn't want to proceed. Maybe they'll say they don't need to proceed because he already has 120 something years in prison sentence. But we're going to have to keep you posted on that development. Anyway, I hope you guys appreciate this update. I appreciated giving you my thoughts on it. And so hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you later.